Good evening, hello and welcome. You're with the news today. This is your primetime destination. News, newsmakers, talking points, news without the noise. We have plenty as always on the show tonight. Our big talking point is coming from what's happening in Andhra Pradesh. That's the big news update. Andhra Pradesh, Odisha are bracing for Cyclone Monta. It's just made a landfall. We'll have a live update for you in a moment. Also, Tejasvi Yadav's Manifesto pledge, 1.25 crore jobs and counting. We'll raise the big question with two experts. Job creation, is that Bihar's biggest challenge? Will Bihar ever come out of the Bimaru trap? Also, we'll have an update on that shocker from Madhya Pradesh where a farmer was mowed down by a local BJP neta. All that and more. But tonight's breaking story, Cyclone Montha has made a landfall in Andhra Pradesh just a short while ago. Wind speeds up to 110 kilometers per hour near Andhra's Kakinada. Alert has been issued in the coastal districts of Andhra, Odisha. Andhra deploys drones now in cyclone-affected areas. NDRF, SDRF teams are on standby now for rescue ops to be conducted. So the big story is coming from that Cyclone Montha, which has moved to the southeast coast of the country. I want to go straight to our reporters who are literally, I would say, in the eye of the cyclone. Apurva joins me from Kakinada, where that landfall was made a short while ago. Abdul Bashir from Machilipatnam, also in Andhra Pradesh. But first to you, Apurva. First of all, I hope you're safe. The landfall has taken place. Tell us what you're hearing about damage, if any, in Kakinada.
Well, in fact, we are safe here in, Kakinada. One important thing to notice is that though the landfall has started, it seems like the rains are continuing to go progressively, increasing as the hours go by. 3 to 4 hours is the time that has been given for this landfall to take its complete effect in, the coastal town of Andhra Pradesh. We're seeing the impact that is likely to be, coastal towns from Machilipatnam well into Kalingapatnam are these coastal areas which will bear the brunt of this landfall that is expected. And IMD has also predicted that the windfall will go ahead well up to the speed of 90 kilometers per hour until 110 kilometers per hour. But Andhra Pradesh government has been prepared for Cyclone Montha, in fact, and starting from today, that is 8:30 this night until 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, in across these 7 particular districts which will bear the direct brunt of the landfall. There has been, absolute vehicular movement that has been restricted, barring emergency vehicles. This, not only that, there have been other precautionary measures that have been taken where power cuts have been issued in other areas as well. We are right now in one of these, rescue centers there in Kakinada. As you can see, all people, it has already started raining out here. It's, and all people who have been moved from low-lying areas have been evacuated and set up in similar such camps such as this where I am presented. On one side, you have a fully functional medical camp that has been set up, generators that have been set up on standby, and people who have been, in low-lying areas, they have been moved. Andhra Pradesh government has set out helpline numbers for public to access. Over 350 rescue and relief camps that have been set up in across these 7 districts with special nodal officials who have been deployed from the coastline of Nellore well into Srikakulam. These nodal officials will be taking stock of the situation as the landfall has now started, Rajdeep.
Okay, let me go to Abdul Bashir. You're in Machilipatnam. Abdul, the landfall has just begun. Presumably all fishermen have been evacuated. In fact, one of the things India has learned in the last 10 years is how to cope with cyclones with advance warnings. Tell us again, what kind of safety precautions have been taken? What are you gathering?
Well, yes, I'm right now in Machilipatnam, where the severity of storm Cyclone Monta was being experienced. The whole area, the whole town has been blacked out. Several trees uprooted, the wind moving at a speed of 70 kilometers per hour in Machilipatnam. We are right now moved from, outside Machilipatnam town for safety. But what we are learning is that thousands of people have been moved from Machilipatnam town. Like we have said, real-time monitoring was done. That mechanism that has been bought by the AP Disaster Response Authority has used the real-time monitoring system, where all the departments have come together and real-time monitoring was done. Thousands of people evacuated. 1,400, more than 1,400 villages were said to be affected. 44 towns were under the loop of this particular cyclone. That is right now has made a landfall. We are right now at a safe place, but what we are learning is that the whole area, you can see behind me, is completely blacked out. All the shops have been closed. People have been asked not to venture out. Nobody around the beach or sea. Severe barricading, and highways also have been closed, where entry and exit points have been closed for now, where people have been asked not to venture in and around this area. Now, all the precautions have been taken. More than thousands of people evacuated.
I'm just going to stop you. I'm just going to stop you for a moment, Abdul. I'm just going to stop you for a moment, because I've got also Akshita Nandgopal standing by to just explain to our viewers the path of this cyclone. Akshita, for the last 24 hours, various warnings have been issued. We've gone to Kakinada, we've gone to Machilipatnam, but there are warnings also issued in Odisha, and the landfall has been made, according to some reports, just a short while ago. Others are suggesting it will be as possibly around 10:30. Can you just tell us where we stand now with this cyclone at the moment and what lies ahead?
Absolutely, Rajdeep. So we've opened this up on the map to show you real time as we're tracking the movement of the cyclone. It's moving essentially this way. So I'll zoom that in further for you. Just below Vizag, this is where Kakinada falls. It's also where Machilipatnam is. So the cyclone, and this is the eye of the storm that you see here, it's already hit. What I'm showing you is a rain and thunder tracker. So these right here are the heavy rain bands that have already hit the coast. So there's southern parts of Andhra right now that's receiving the heaviest rainfall, and also northern parts of Tamil Nadu, including Chennai. But in a cyclone, it's all about the wind speeds. So if you look at the wind speeds right now, and this gives you a very clear picture of really where the eye of the storm currently is. It's already hit, you can see, the coast of Andhra Pradesh. But the wind speeds right now, we understand from the Met Department, has reached about 90 to 100 kilometers per hour. There's a possibility of that actually going up. And that's because these particular areas here, Rajdeep, that you see that's marked out in pink, the brighter colors, when that moves in is when you see the maximum impact of the cyclone, which is why experts are warning that the worst isn't over. The next few hours will be crucial to really assess what the impact of the cyclone is. What is the impact going to be, not just on Andhra, but also Odisha, because you can see here places like Gopalpur, which is in the coastal belt of Odisha, very close to Andhra. That's also going to bear the brunt of this cyclone as those bands continue to move inland.
Okay. As we can see from what Akshita says, the key really is the Andhra coast. But of course, we're hearing reports also of winds up to over 100 kilometers there in Odisha as well. Stay safe, all of you out there. Apurva, Abdul Bashir, appreciate you giving us those live reports from Kakinada and Machilipatnam. Clearly, the rain has begun, and we can only hope that it will cause minimal damage. Let me turn from there to politics, where there is a storm of another kind in Bihar. Now, remember, just over a week to go before the first round of polling in the big battle for Bihar, today the Mahagatbandhan got together to put its joint manifesto, a 32-page manifesto, which interestingly has only Tejasvi Yadav on the cover of it, and it's called Tejasvi's Pran. In a way, Tejasvi's promises are being projected. The manifesto promises government jobs through legislation for all of Bihar's families within 20 days. 1 job per household. All contractual and outsourced workers will be made permanent, as would Jivika Didis. The big question, of course, can these promises translate into reality? In a moment, I'll look with experts at Bihar's job crisis. But first, take a look at the political fallout today.
The Mahagatbandhan unveiled its manifesto dubbed as Bihar ka Tejasvi Pran, translated verbatim, means brave oath for Bihar. Had the name and picture of the Chief Minister face for the alliance cleverly weaved in. With that, once again, the Grand Alliance claimed a first stroke on the poll pitch as the ruling alliance is yet to release its poll manifesto. The manifesto makes big promises on the jobs front. The Mahagatbandhan pledges one government job per household, 1.25 crore jobs in 5 years, a domicile law to guarantee locals get the jobs created, unemployment allowances for both graduates and postgraduates.
क्या विजन होगा एनडीए का अगला 5 साल? क्या ब्लूप्रिंट होगा? अभी तक उन लोगों ने घोषणा पत्र भी जारी नहीं की है. उनके पास विजन नहीं है. यानी साफ तौर पे हम कह सकते हैं कि एनडीए में जो लोग हैं वो सब विजनलेस लोग बैठे हुए हैं और आपस में लगता है सब कुछ ठीक ठाक नहीं.
The NDA described the Mahagatbandhan manifesto as just empty promises.
जब आपको सरकार में आना ही नहीं है, जब आपको अपने वादों को पूरा करने की जिम्मेदारी ही नहीं है, उस बात का एहसास ही नहीं है, तो झूठ बोलने में क्या जाता है. अभी तो इन्होंने शुक्र कीजिए कि परिवार में एक सरकारी नौकरी बोली है. झूठ बोलने पर अगर ये लोग आ जाएं तो हर एक व्यक्ति को सरकारी नौकरी बोल देंगे कि 14 करोड़ बिहारियों को हम लोग सरकारी नौकरी दे देंगे. झूठ बोलने में ये लोग इतने माहिर हैं.
The Nitish government has already released 10,000 rupees to nearly 1 crore women as part of an employment scheme. Job creation is turning out to be a big election issue. Bureau Report, India Today.
And let's make that the special focus. Away from the political din, the real issue remains job creation in a state like Bihar. Remember, 9% of India's population lives in Bihar. Job creation, is it Bihar's biggest challenge? Is it a mission impossible? How can a state like Bihar get more private investment? Will Bihar come out of the Bimaru trap, the so-called Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, UP trap, as was called a few years ago, several years ago, that these were the states that were least developed in the country? Let's go straight then to our talking point. So is job creation mission impossible for Bihar? Joining me now, two very special guests. N.K. Singh, Chairman 15 Finance Commission, someone who's been a distinguished civil servant, IS officer from Bihar, comes from one of the most well-known families of that state. Also being joined by Dr. Prachi Mishra. She's professor at Ashoka University, economist and head of the Isaac Center for Public Policy there. Appreciate both of you joining us. I want to come to you, Mr. N.K. Singh, first, because you've written a recent column where you've suggested that Bihar is actually one of the turnaround stories of the country in terms of the fact that there is economic growth that's visible over the last 2 decades. But the truth of the matter, Mr. N.K. Singh, is when I look at the big numbers, whether it's unemployment, which remains in double digit, when I look at per capita income, which is a third of the national per capita income, when I look at manufacturing, which is well below national figures, Bihar is still trapped, many believe, in a Bimaru trap. Do you agree or not?
I do not agree at all. I do not agree for 4 reasons, Rajdeep, if I may say so. And I'll say it very, very quickly. First and foremost, if you look at long-term trends, you will find that between the period up to 2005, between that period, the growth of population was high, the growth of nominal GDP was low, and per capita income was roughly growing at close to roughly 1% per annum. In sharp contrast to that, if we look at contemporary figures, excepting for regrettably 2017, when there was a dip in the per capita income. If you, for instance, take the most recent example of 25-26, nominal GDP is expected to grow at 22%. This is significantly higher than the expectation of nominal GDP. I recognize this is all from a very low base. But if you look at the growth trends of Bihar in the last 10 years, you will find that the growth of nominal GDP is significantly higher than the national average. Second, to support all this, demography, which was close to around 3%, has significantly come down to 1.4%, some say, but certainly below 2%, which means per capita income is rising significantly higher than at any other point in time. You compound this with the fact that capital expenditure has increased very significantly. There's a huge burst of activity in terms of roads, airports, rail connectivity. Couple it with the fact that a very large percentage of Biharis who are working outside, nearly every second household is receiving 35,000 rupees by way of remittances. Last year alone, the number of Biharis who sought jobs and secured jobs outside India are quite high. I made some suggestions on how...
I'll come to those. I'll come to those in a moment. What you're saying is the glass is half full and not half empty. I will in a moment challenge some of what you've said, but I want to come to Dr. Mishra. Dr. Mishra, do you agree that Bihar is showing signs of growth? We've got Tejasvi Yadav today saying, for example, that jobs remain his big focus. He's going to provide 1 job per household. Now, that's 2.7 crore jobs. Whether that's achieved or not is a huge question. It will require, according to some estimates, 7 lakh crore addition in budget, which clearly Bihar doesn't have. But is there a sense that Bihar is actually able to come out of this unemployment poverty trap, or is it mired in a way in the Bimaru state that it is?
Thank you, Rajdeep. Pleasure to be here and pleasure to be in discussion with Mr. N.K. Singh. I think recent growth rates, as Mr. N.K. Singh has pointed out in his article today, have been impressive. So it's been 8 to 9%, and it has doubled over the last decade. I think what I would like to add is that, are these growth rates enough? I think despite these high growth rates, the divergence across states, divergence of Bihar with other states of India has actually increased over time, because a number of states are growing even faster than Bihar. Therefore, I think despite high growth rates, these are not high enough to catch up in convergence. At least my calculations suggest that it would need 15 years for Bihar to catch up to Odisha, and much longer to catch up to even half of the all India average, assuming current growth rates. However, all this implies and is very consistent with the forward-looking perspective which Mr. N.K. Singh has offered, is really Bihar needs double-digit real growth rates. And perhaps 9% growth rates are not enough to achieve, at least to get to half of India's per capita income when India becomes Viksit Bharat. So let me stop here, but happy to take on.
The fact, though, is, and based on what you're saying, let me, as I said, challenge N.K. Singh on the belief that you've got a situation, N.K. Singh, where 7.2% of the state's population, 75 lakh migrants, according to one figure, work outside Bihar. The Bihar Caste Survey report for 22-23, according to which 2.65 crore people live outside Bihar as migrants. Now, these are people who clearly are not finding employable opportunities within Bihar. Yes, in agriculture in particular, there have been impressive growth rates. In service sector, it's grown. But when I look at manufacturing, it is very, very depressing. Now, therefore, you're saying that Bihar is turning around. Many will say that there is also the glass half empty, which you're not recognizing at all.
No, I do not share this. I agree with Prachi that these impressive growth rates, which we have recently achieved, need to be accelerated further. If by the time India becomes a Viksit Bharat, if Bihar continues with the same nominal GDP growth of, let us say, 11 to 12% per annum consistently, which requires a slew of policies, none of which are really impossible to reach, we would have significantly narrowed the gap. By 2047, according to the growth projections that I have, Bihar's per capita income would be 2/3 of current Karnataka's income, which is the highest in the number of states. Yes, I agree that this requires several 5 steps, which I have mentioned in my article. I'll very quickly, in 2 sentences, mention these. 1, continue with the present initiative in terms of the capital outlays being significantly enhanced. 2, secure the migrant incomes which are coming through institutional mechanism where they do not only go into consumption, but continue to go a reasonable percentage into capital expenditure. 3, provide mechanisms by which private capital can be attracted, which has been somewhat shy so far in Bihar, attracting private capital. 4, capitalize on the improved connectivity of Bihar in being able to harness something which Bihar has a latent capability, namely the tourism and the services sector. By the way, Rajdeep, the story on the manufacturing sector being next to negligible is not borne out by facts. The current percentage of the manufacturing sector, no matter how low the nominal GDP is, currently is close to 20% of Bihar is from the manufacturing sector. The contribution of the agricultural sector has come down, and just like the rest of India, the contribution of the services sector has gone up very, very significantly. The most important really thing, one of the things which I have mentioned in my article, is being able to harness private capital in a significant way, bring about a qualitative change in the education health sector, for which there is a huge potential which exists.
Therefore, Prachi, when you look at this election that's coming out, because the debate is once again, at least as far as the opposition is concerned, focusing on Palayan, Roko, Naukri Do. And if you travel across Bihar, jobs is a major issue. This is a government also on its side. The Nitish Kumar government, just ahead of the elections, suddenly announced 10,000 rupees for more than 1.2 crore women for making them entrepreneurs or self-entrepreneurs. The question arises that does Bihar need massive state support? Government jobs, government handouts, welfare schemes. There is a private investment cycle that has really not picked up. And that is a problem, not just Bihar, but several states in that part of the country face, including West Bengal, including parts of eastern UP, for example. There is that trap that several parts of the country find themselves in. Do you see Bihar emerging out of that trap where it's completely dependent on a Mai Baap Sarkar?
So Rajdeep, let me just take this opportunity to present a teaser for a report on Bihar, exclusively focused on Bihar, which ISAC Center for Public Policy is working on. And related to the whole jobs issue, what we make a case for is strategic industrial policy. And here, I think, let me highlight one thing, which is agro-industrialization, which is a first candidate for strategic industrial policy in Bihar. And what we make a case for is that there's immense scope and potential for agro-industrialization. And let me give you some concrete examples. If you take the case of maize, maize has been a big success story in Bihar. What we argue is that this can be further capitalized on through exploiting 2 things. One is the geographical and the input-output linkages. So let me just give you some granular examples. I think maize is very concentrated in certain districts in Bihar, Araria, Supol. These are districts in northeast Bihar. But most maize leaves Bihar as raw grain without any value addition. So developing maize-based industrial structure clusters in some of these districts like Araria and surrounding districts could create multiply effects for both manufacturing and services. So agriculture now is not, agriculture. If you actually exploit the potential of agriculture, it can have spillover effects for both manufacturing and services. I'm sure you know about, makhana and lychee. These are also examples of sectors which would have spillovers for manufacturing in terms of production as well as exports and for services. So I think Bihar has, important choices to make on the development path going forward, and also learn from other states. Even if you look at agriculture, different states in India follow different paths. Madhya Pradesh is totally crop-based. Tamil Nadu is more livestock. Odisha is more balanced. Bihar could have a more balanced growth path spread across, even within agriculture, spread across crops, traditional like pulses, but also high value like lychee and makhana, in addition to that livestock and fisheries. And remember that, Bihar has comparative advantage from structural endowments like water. And so livestock and dairy really remain dramatically underutilized relative to the available resources and market potential. And, tourism is another sector for strategic industrial policy. I think Mr. Singh already spoke about tourism and has written about it. I think, tourism's economic contribution to Bihar GDP, but most important to employment is very, very low, and that can increase, significantly, I think, by doing a couple of things. Number one, breaking the extreme geographic concentration. Right now it's very concentrated in 2 or 3 districts. Second, again, Mr. Singh spoke about it, diaspora-driven rural heritage, heritage tourism is another area. I think Bihar's large global diaspora and returning immigrants represent an untapped resource, especially for agriculture. And then there's the, big Buddhist heritage that could be, exploited. So I think there are important choices to be made at this point, given that a new government is going to be in place in terms of development choices for the Bihar economy going forward.
I just want to ask both of you this. I don't want to ask you who you think is better placed to take Bihar forward, because I guess you don't want to put your you don't want to politically commit on that issue, whether it's the Mahagatbandhan or the NDA. But what I do want to ask, and this is a question that has often troubled me, is the sharp income inequalities. As you travel across Bihar, one thing that always strikes out is just the scale of inequalities, particularly in parts of central Bihar, where per capita incomes remain very low and much below the national average. Do you see that changing? N.K. Singh, a quick response, and then Prachi will end it.
Well, I certainly see one of the biggest equalizers of this income disparity. By the way, Rajdeep, this is not only true of Bihar. This would be true for other states. This would be true of India as a whole. But to specifically answer your question, not a panacea, but the only figure is continuing with the nominal GDP growth rate of around 15 to 16% over a long period, where growth is really propelled forward, will have inevitable spillover effects, apart from encouragement of private capital, big investment in education, in health, which requires some changes and recalibration, and of course, the ability to attract gainful private investment in partnership. Tourism, by the way, I don't know, Rajdeep, if you have ever visited. I'm sure you have. You have visited Angkor Wat or not. I was taken aback. One city of Angkor Wat attracts a tourism based on the Ramayana theme, attracts tourism which is mind-boggling, Bihar's legacy and history. And given the fact that with the central government outlay having gone up significantly in terms of improved connectivity of air, railways, and roads, offers that if it is blended with, particularly, I say this, with the hospitality sector being supported by availability of land at affordable prices and the availability of the other regulatory framework in a manner where this opportunity can be harnessed and capitalized to Bihar's advantage.
Prachi, a final word. How important is political stability to all of this? Bihar has gone in the past through turbulent times. Is political stability the key? When investors are making choices, they will certainly look at states that offer freedom from fear, particularly law and order, as well as a politically stable environment. Am I correct?
Rajiv, let me quickly say that, I agree with you, what you started with in terms of, how concentrated growth in Bihar is. So if you, if you look at, if you look at Patna, it has a per capita income of, of the orders of magnitudes of 1.5 lakh. Begusarai is around $50,000, $60,000 rupees. But if you exclude these two, the magnitudes are extremely low. Whether this can change and, how important is political stability. I think it's, of course, political stability is very important for economic policy. I think there's enough evidence for that. But I think, again, as I said, it has to be combined with a drive for, double-digit real GDP growth. And that can be achieved through strategic industrial policy with focus on agro-industrialization, tourism, and perhaps also GCCs, which can, help us achieve both the twin goals of GDP and also of employment. Let me stop here.
Okay, let me leave it there. It's interesting to listen to two voices away from all the political noise, which is why we thought we'd bring both of you here. We hear a lot of noise, partisan noises on both sides of the political divide. Whether job creation is mission impossible in Bihar, time will tell. But we look forward to getting Bihar back on track, because a state with a 9% population of the country certainly needs to move ahead if at all India is to move ahead. You just have to look at how well Biharis do when they're outside Bihar, extremely hardworking and enterprising, to know that it is there in the soil of the land to work hard and move ahead. N.K. Singh, Prachi Mishra, appreciate you joining me here on the News Today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rajdeep. Pleasure.
Okay, let's focus on that big breaking news that's been flashing over the last few minutes on your screen. The BJP leader who was suspended from his party after he was accused of crushing a farmer to death has been arrested. This is the case of the BJP Kisan Morcha leader from Guna in Madhya Pradesh, a case that was highlighted first here on India Today. The accused, Mahendra Nagar, has been arrested after 55 hours. Remember, there were reports that he had absconded and moved into neighboring Rajasthan. So far, 4 out of 14 accused in that horrific case. Let me repeat, a case where a Thar car was used to mow down a farmer after a land dispute. When his daughters came there to protest, they were also targeted, they were assaulted, their clothes were torn, and therefore this is the most heinous crime involving a Kisan Morcha leader of the BJP. The party has acted, suspended him, and now we are told that the prime accused, Mahendra Nagar, has been arrested. This is the ex-BJP Neta who ran his Thar car over a farmer in a village in Guna. This is the latest reports that we are getting. Let me go straight across to Ravish Pal Singh. He joins me live from Bhopal. Ravish, this was a story that was our top story yesterday. You had told us then that Mahendra Nagar was absconding. Has he been picked up from Rajasthan or in Madhya Pradesh itself? What details can you give?
Sir, primary information we are getting that the prime accused Mahendra Nagar has been arrested from Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh border, and he was not only absconding, but he was frequently changing his locations also from last 48 hours. So Madhya Pradesh police and Rajasthan police has made a task force, and after 55 hours of long search operation, he has been found hiding near a wine shop in Fatehgarh village near Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan border. Not only the prime accused Mahendra Nagar, but also his Thar jeep was seized by the local police. And today it was a heavy political development due to this incident. The former Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh and a local former MLA from Guna, nearby Guna, Raghugad, Digvijay Singh has reached to the victim family today, and because of the whole political pressure.
Ravish, I'm just stopping you for a moment because Ankit Soni, the SP of Guna, is joining us. Mr. Soni, appreciate your joining us. Can you give us more details? Is it confirmed that Mahendra Nagar and along with him some of his associates have now been arrested picked up, we are told, in a village on the Madhya Pradesh Rajasthan border?
जी, पुलिस लगातार पिछले 2 दिन से मल्टीपल टीम्स लगाकर हम लोग मेन एक्यूज महेंद्र नागर को अरेस्ट करने की कोशिश कर रहे थे, जिसमें हमने 12 जिले के साथ मिलके कई जगह हमने रेड करी थी। तो फाइनली अभी को 1 घंटे पहले सक्सेस कर लिया है, तो महेंद्र नागर को अरेस्ट कर लिया गया है।
आप हमें बता सकते हैं कि महेंद्र नागर का जो इन्वॉल्वमेंट है वो केवल किस तरह से है? क्योंकि जो थार कार चला रहा था वो कह रहे हैं उसके एसोसिएट्स चला रहे थे। क्या महेंद्र नागर पूरी तरह से इस घटनाक्रम में शामिल था जिस तरह से एफआईआर बता रहा है? और क्या कारण है कि उसने एक किसान की इस तरह से हत्या की? व्हाट इज योर इन्वेस्टिगेशन शोइंग, मिस्टर सोनी?
जो अभी तक इन्वेस्टिगेशन में तथ्य है, महेंद्र नागर के द्वारा मृतक रामस्वरूप नागर को बुरी तरीके से मारा पीटा गया है, लाठी डंडों से मारा पीटा गया है
जी।
और जी, एंड व्हाट वाज द फर्दर क्वेश्चन?
No, I wanted to know whether his associates were also involved. How many of them? We are told 4 out of 14. 14 में से 4 लोगों की गिरफ्तारी हुई है. Where are the other accused who reportedly were also involved, Mr. Soni, in this incident?
इस केस में जो महेंद्र नागर के अदर एसोसिएट्स हैं वो अभी लगातार फरार चल रहे हैं, जिसके लिए हमारी लगभग 10 टीम्स जगह जगह दबिश दे रही है यहाँ पे, और हम जल्द ही बचे हुए इनके 10 एसोसिएट्स को भी जल्दी अरेस्ट कर लेंगे।
क्या ये सही है कि महेंद्र नागर का बीजेपी से संबंध था, उनको अब सस्पेंड किया गया है? वो वहां के किसान मोर्चा के नेता थे और इस तरह, और उनके खिलाफ कई दूसरे भी आरोप लगे थे लैंड डिस्प्यूट्स में, लैंड ग्रैबिंग के, तो इनका एक क्रिमिनल ट्रैक रिकॉर्ड था। क्या ये सही है?
सबसे पहले महेंद्र नागर के किसी पॉलिटिकल पार्टी के एफिलिएशन है कि नहीं, इस संबंध ये पुलिस का मैटर नहीं। हम लोग अपनी कोर इन्वेस्टिगेशन पे फोकस कर रहे हैं जो इंसिडेंट हुआ है। और महेंद्र नागर के
रिकॉर्ड था, इनका क्रिमिनल रिकॉर्ड था या नहीं?
महेंद्र नागर के पूर्व में 4 महिला अपराध पंजीबद्ध हैं और एक नाहरगढ़ थाना क्षेत्र जिला 12 राजस्थान में अपराध पंजीबद्ध है।
मेरा आखिरी सवाल, व्हाट चार्जेस आर यू पुटिंग अगेंस्ट हिम? आपने अरेस्ट किया है, प्रिज्यूमेबली मर्डर will be a charge, and therefore this is not a case of, this will be seen as a case of murder, am I correct?
Yes, this is a case, इसमें मर्डर के चार्ज है। इसके अलावा जो 3 अन्य लोग भी गंभीर रूप से घायल हैं, तो उसमें उसके करस्पॉन्डिंग धारा भी लगाई गई है।
सोनी जी, आपने हमसे बात की, बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। I want to go back to Ravish Pal Singh. Ravish, the police officer didn't want to highlight the fact that he comes from the Bharatiya Janata Party and was the Kisan Morcha leader. We've seen numerous photographs of his with BJP leaders, but I want to understand how this is playing out politically. इसका राजनीतिकरण क्या हो रहा है? आपने कहा Digvijay Singh has gone to the spot. Clearly the Madhya Pradesh government of Mohan Yadav has been pushed on the back foot, क्योंकि ये पहली घटना नहीं है। आज भी एक और घटना के बारे में बात आ रही है कि एक लोकल बीजेपी मंडल नेता ने किसी एक नागरिक को पीटा है, उसका भी वीडियो आया है। तो कहीं ना कहीं ये पूरे घटनाक्रम में क्या सरकार को बैकफुट पर लिया गया है?
बिल्कुल सर, क्योंकि जब हम बात करते हैं मध्य प्रदेश में, तो इस घटना को अभी 2 दिन हुए नहीं है और आज एक मामला वीडियो सामने आया है। ये वीडियो बालाघाट डिस्ट्रिक्ट से आया है, जहां पे जो बीजेपी का लोकल लीडर है, डिस्ट्रिक्ट लीडर, वो एक जो युवक है उसकी बेरहमी से पिटाई कर रहा है, उसे कुर्सी पे बैठा करके डंडों से मार रहा है। इस पूरे मामले में भी पुलिस ने एफआईआर दर्ज की है, लेकिन ये जो पूरा मामला है इसलिए ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाता है। राजीव जी देखिए, ये मामला जो है ये गुना का है। गुना जो है वो यूनियन मिनिस्टर ज्योतिरादित्य सिंधिया का लोकसभा कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंसी है, और इसके साथ ही गुना में ही पड़ता है राघोगढ़ विधानसभा असेंबली, जहां से आते हैं पूर्व मुख्यमंत्री दिग्विजय सिंह, और फिलहाल जो है करेंटली उनके बेटे जयवर्धन सिंह वहां से एमएलए हैं, जो कि मध्य प्रदेश सरकार में कमलनाथ गवर्नमेंट में मिनिस्टर रह चुके हैं। तो जाहिर सी बात है ये ना केवल एक इंसिडेंट था मर्डर का, बल्कि इसके साथ ही ये एक बड़ा पॉलिटिकल बैटल ग्राउंड भी बन गया है। और दिग्विजय सिंह आज जब गए थे तो प्रेशर था काफी एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन पे, और इसीलिए ग्वालियर चंबल जोन के जो सीनियर पुलिस ऑफिशियल्स हैं आज वो सुबह से गुना डिस्ट्रिक्ट में ही अपना डेरा जमाए हुए थे, और ना केवल लोकल पुलिस बल्कि आसपास के कई थानों की फोर्स जो है आज वो गुना में थी। और जिस तरीके से इस पूरे मामले में अब तस्वीरें सामने आ चुकी हैं, और कल रात को ही इंडिया टुडे पे खबर चलाए जाने के बाद जो बीजेपी लीडर है उसे एक्सपेल किया गया था पार्टी से, तो इस बात की पुख्ता सबूत थे कि इसका कहीं ना कहीं भारतीय जनता पार्टी से लिंक था, और इसलिए पार्टी ने उसे कल एक्सपेल भी किया है।
राइट, रविशपाल सिंह, a story which deserves national attention, which should have got far more attention in the mainstream media. We will continue to track all such stories where there is impunity of power shown in these dastardly matters, whichever part of the country they come from. Today the story which we've been tracking is from Madhya Pradesh, and we hope that the accused will get the severest punishment. This is absolutely unacceptable behavior that deserves the strictest exemplary punishment in this case. Thanks very much, Ravishpal, for joining me. I want to turn from there to the other story we've been tracking. The Delhi government, seemingly at 6s and 7s to tackle the problem of smog and pollution, finally conducted a cloud seeding in parts of the city as they had promised. But here's the story. There were no cloud showers that were reported from any parts of the city. 2 cloud seeding trials involving an IIT in Kanpur were conducted today, covering 6 areas across Delhi. Delhi's Environment Minister Manjinder Sirsa had stated that it might take 15 minutes to 4 hours for artificial rain depending on moisture inside the clouds. But the 4-hour deadline has ended. The capital is yet to receive its first artificial rain. The Delhi government says for artificial rain, there must be at least 50% moisture in the clouds. Currently, there is only 10 to 15% moisture, which has delayed the rains. Now, the Delhi government is facing 2 challenges. One is in the air, the other is, well, in water. It was the final day of Chhath Puja. In Delhi, though, the celebrations, in a sense, have been partly overshadowed by the political controversy created over the Delhi government's attempt to create artificial ghats near the Yamuna for devotees. The Aam Aadmi Party has been quick to target the BJP, claiming that this was all part of the BJP's optics to show that the Yamuna was being cleaned and that the government had misled citizens on the quality of water. The BJP has hit back, saying they are moving away from the AAP legacy of 10 years, where the AAP, they say, failed to control the pollution in the Yamuna. Our reporter Anmol Bali did a reality check to find out what the truth was. Is the Yamuna cleaner or not? Take a look.
Chhath celebrations back on the banks of Yamuna after many years. The ghats in Delhi were bustling on Tuesday. However, an artificial ghat or space created for puja on the Yamuna River bank at the Vasudev Ghat in Delhi is in eye of a storm. The Aam Aadmi Party claims it foiled the BJP government's plan to use the makeshift ghat for the PM's use.
भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार ने पूरी कोशिश की कि एक नकली यमुना बना के दुनिया को दिखा दिया जाए कि साहब हमने यमुना साफ कर दी और उसका पानी ऐसा है जैसे फिल्टर का पानी हो, मिनरल वाटर हो। ये सोशल मीडिया की ताकत है और ये सच्चे लोगों की ताकत है कि सच्चाई सोशल मीडिया पे जीत गई।
The BJP maintains it never claimed to have finished the cleanup of Yamuna and took credit for creating artificial ghats.
यमुना के तट पर पिछले 10 सालों में छठ पूजा नहीं होती थी। वहाँ पे प्रतिबंध लगा दिया जाता था प्रशासन द्वारा। इस बार 20 से ज़्यादा घाट हमने बनाए हैं जो कि यमुना के तट पर बनाए हैं। लोगों को हमने यमुना के अंदर में पानी के उतरने के बजाय हमने साइड में 20 के 20 जगह पर वहाँ पे साइड में हमने घाट बनाकर वहाँ पे उनके लिए साफ पानी का इंतजाम किया है। जहाँ पे 80 लाख फीकल कॉलीफॉर्म था वहाँ पे 80 लाख से घटकर 25,000 रह गया है। ये हम नहीं कह रहे, हमारी रिपोर्ट कहती है।
This year, more water is being released from the Hatnikund barrage. in Haryana into the river, giving it a cleaner look.
यमुना की पानी की तस्वीरें भी कि आप यहाँ से देख सकते होंगे कि यमुना का पानी कितना साफ है, कितना गंदा है। जो लोग पहले छठ मनाने आते होंगे वही जान पाएंगे कि यमुना के पानी में क्या तब्दीली आई है, क्योंकि यमुना के पानी पर देखा जा रहा है सियासत का भी ग्रहण है, जहां आम आदमी पार्टी देखा जा रहा है भारतीय जनता पार्टी को यमुना के पानी की गुणवत्ता को लेकर घेरती दिख रही है।
Data on Yamuna water quality released by the Delhi Pollution Control Committee for October 25th shows that pH value at the significant locations were within permissible limits. However, fecal coliform levels, which indicate contamination with fecal matter, exceeded maximum permissible limits at ISBT Bridge, ITO Bridge, Nizamuddin Bridge, Okhla Barrage and Asgarpur. At these levels, the water is not fit for bathing.
Talking about the fecal coliform, it's a very important parameter. There is a huge change in the values. So earlier it was, so now if we say 3 log, 4 log reduction in the values, February, and then final reports in June. So we are very pleased that government has taken our recommendations very seriously, and the efforts which has been done by the government are tremendous.
How clean is the river remains a matter of debate. With Anmol Bali, Bureau Report, India Today.
Okay, let's take a break at this point. When we return, our Get Real India story. Tonight, it comes from Jharkhand, where 5 children battling thalassemia have tested HIV positive after blood transfusions at a government hospital. We'll tell you more on the other side. You're watching News Today, news without the noise. Get Real India story, which comes from Jharkhand, where 5 children battling thalassemia have now tested HIV positive after blood transfusions at a government hospital in Chaibasa town. The state government has ordered a high-level probe, suspended key officials and announced compensation for the victims. But the question is, how did such a grave lapse happen in a government hospital? Tonight's Get Real India.
A shocking case of medical negligence in Jharkhand. At least 5 thalassemia-affected children have tested positive for HIV after receiving blood transfusions at a government hospital in West Singhbhum district's Chaibasa town. The incident has sparked outrage across the state, prompting immediate investigation by a high-level medical team from Ranchi. The matter first came to light on Friday when the family of a thalassemia-affected child alleged that HIV-infected blood was transfused to him at the Chaibasa Sadar Hospital blood bank. After the complaint, the Jharkhand government dispatched a medical team to investigate the allegations. 4 more children suffering from thalassemia were found to be HIV positive, and they had all been receiving regular transfusions at the same hospital.
प्रोग्राम से संबंधित जो भी कार्यक्रम देख रहे हैं उन सभी लोगों को मैंने जांच के क्रम में बताया कि आप इसका प्रचार प्रसार करिए और सभी लोगों का जो है बच्चों का ब्लड जांच कराइए और ब्लड बैंक को भी हम जा करके देखेंगे कि वहाँ ब्लड का रखरखाव किस तरह से हो रहा है, वहाँ जांच किस प्रकार से किया जा रहा है.
Jharkhand Chief Minister Hemant Soren has directed the suspension of the civil surgeon of West Singhbhum and several other hospital officials. He has also announced that families of the affected children will receive 2 lakh rupees each, and the state government will cover the full cost of treatment for all victims.
जितने भी डोनर थे ब्लड का उसका फाइल को भी हम लोग चेक करने का प्रयास कर रहे हैं और ताकि इसको सुधार किया जाए और ऐसा है अगर कोई दोषी है तो उस पर कार्रवाई हो.
The BJP has slammed the state government for the serious lapse.
किसी का जीवन संकट में डाल दो और सिर्फ सस्पेंड से काम चल जाए क्या? ये तो लिपापोती है, बचाने की प्रक्रिया है.
The ongoing probe has uncovered serious lapses in the hospital's blood bank, including unsafe storage, inadequate testing, and improper distribution of blood units. As the investigation continues, the blood bank has been placed under emergency operations mode and will only cater to critical cases for the next few days. Bureau Report, India Today.
And that is our aim on the news today, to bring you stories that prime time across this country simply doesn't report. The stories that should really matter to you and me and the people at large. Thanks for watching. Stay well, stay safe. Good night, Shubhratri, Jai Hind, Namaskar. News without the noise. Bye for now.